Katrina, 9/11, swine flu, SARS, tsunamis. Is it possible to be ready before the next disaster strikes? Some people will be. They're called preppers, and they spend their time helping others prepare for emergencies. There is a growing chance that a major catastrophe could strike at any moment. Experts are actually saying that we're living on borrowed time.
That is correct.
Joe Artis is part of a growing trend in the United States where citizens are not planning on FEMA or anybody else to save them when the next emergency strikes, whether it's a tornado or the next terrorist attack.
As executive director of Survivor Mall and co-host of Raiders Live News Talk Radio, Artis specializes in low-cost survival alternatives for the wholesale company. Thomas Horn is CEO of Raiders News Network and a veteran pastor of nearly 25 years. He believes the religious community should be front and center on this issue, because for him it's not a matter of if, but when, a major crisis is going to happen in the United States. We asked him on the phone to explain.
Well, all one has to do is pull their head out of the sand and look around. I mean, I wish it were not the case, but it is. We're living in an uncertain period of time right now when enemies of America would like nothing better than to create chaos. It's also a time, however, that leaders of religious institutions can rise up with more than platitudes and give their followers, their audience, give them solid advice. And the thing is, when simple steps are taken to be prepared for disasters, then faith is increased, confidence to face the future is increased, fear is diminished as a result, and the Bible has a lot to say about that. For instance, while it's true that famine was prophesied for Egypt, it's also a fact that God led Joseph to prepare for it, and as a result, he saved his family and the nations around about.
Like Dr. Horn, we are finding that preppers are not just so-called survivalists any longer. They are modern, urban investors, businessmen, preachers, and even wives and mothers.
Right now, every day, people are seeing the importance of being prepared for the unknown. And they're looking at how affordable it has become to have some assurances on hand. They're looking at things like long-term storage foods, and they're thinking to themselves, hey, this is a great investment. I can easily keep on hand at home enough food to keep me alive for like up to a whole year in the case of an unexpected catastrophic situation.
What type of dehydrated foods are available, and in what amounts would they be needed if a person needed to stay alive for about a year? And how much would that cost?
Well, let me show you some of our kits. At Survivor Mall, we have several food supply kits. They vary in price to fit a variety of budgets. They vary in size. This kit includes 9 cans of Mountain House long-term storage food. These cans are good to store for 30 years. Obviously, we have a number of kits, so I'm not going to go into details about each kit. One of the most important things to remember about a food kit when you're selecting one is to make sure that you get the appropriate number of calories per day. The preparation for these foods is very simple. You basically add 7 to 9 cups of boiling water to the cans. We've been looking at the smallest budget food supply kit available at Survivor Mall, but we also have kits that are much larger. We have 6-month kits and also 1-year kits available.
Some people go all out, learning to live off-grid, buying windmills for electricity or solar panels, killing animals, and using their hides for making clothing. There seems to be no limit to how far you could go.
Without dedicating your entire life and all of your money to survivalism, there are a few basics that people should know about. For example, we have a video that teaches families how to stay warm and alive if they should get cut off from their utilities for an extended period of time. In case your home or local buildings are not safe to inhabit, everybody should have a go bag or a survival kit containing important documents, food and water, first aid supplies that they can just grab and head out with. If possible, they should be carrying a hand crank NOAA radio that will be broadcasting important information updates. And again, these are very affordable and one of our best sellers.
On the phone with Dr. Horn, we asked if pastors and other religious leaders are responding to his call for ministries to take the lead during September to encourage their congregations to be prepared for disasters.
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, the Bible makes it clear that biblical faith is measured by personal action. And Hebrews 11:7 describes true faith this way, saying, "By faith Noah, being warned of God of things not as yet seen, moved with fear, and prepared an ark to the saving of his house," end quote. It's kind of like today. We don't know when the next terrorist attack or anything else is going to happen. The only thing that Noah knew was that it was prophesied, and he prepared for it. And then when the flood arrived, when the disaster came, he was ready. So the lesson is his faith in God, his obedience to God's word, his survival instincts, ultimately his preparedness actions saved his family and preserved the human race. You've got Homeland Security, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, all out there trying very hard to encourage Americans, and especially those who have not yet taken time to be prepared for the unknown, to do so. And all I'm doing is adding to that as a veteran of more than 30 years of church ministry, I want to call on pastors and religious leaders to take a stand at the forefront of this issue and to make disaster preparedness some part of their ministry. Now, it doesn't need to define what their ministry is all about, but it should be part of the counsel that they are offering their followers. I mean, a pastor could literally save a believer's life by encouraging them to be readied for the unknown.
After speaking with the CEO of Survivor Mall and some of his staff, I for one plan to keep at least the basics on hand. Homeland Security and FEMA are hoping that all Americans will take heed to this advice during September and make efforts to be prepared for future emergencies.